Nigeria's President Muhammad Buhari has inaugurated Lekki Deep-Sea Port in Lagos State. The key infrastructure project promises to create jobs and vastly improve Nigeria's trade picture. The president was accompanied by Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Arise business correspondent Ruth Sudiri attended the event and sent in this report.
Once again,
as part of his busy two-day trip to Nigeria's commercial capital, President Buhari inaugurated the Lekki Deep-Sea Port in Lagos State. He was accompanied by the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
This magnificent infrastructure has been a combination of very many years of tireless work by a team that have agreed to work together. The team is led by NEPSA first approving that this place should be designated as a free trade zone by your regulator, NEPSA, also by MPA, who also approved the concept of this project, then by the team of financiers led by the Tolerant Group, is a Nigerian-Singaporean consortium, and like we've mentioned to you, they've been in the country for several decades. With working with them are the China Rubber from China, who are the leading financial partner onto this project, and of course, Lagos State Government, who sits as also the chair of this project. The operator for this project is one of the biggest in the world, CMA from France. And so, Mr. President, you can see that it's been a total combination of federal government, Lagos State, and the private sector.
The Lekki Deep Sea Port is a state-of-the-art facility that is the largest seaport in Nigeria and one of the biggest in West Africa that is set to revolutionize the way goods are transported and traded in Africa's largest economy. The ceremony for the inauguration featured an array of dignitaries that addressed the game-changing infrastructure.
The Lekki Port team, together with Lekki Freeport Terminal, a subsidiary of CMA CGM Group, are now working tirelessly to ensure that the port operation commences in the next few months, hopefully before the end of the first quarter this year.
It means that to be able to bring in bigger vessels, more cargo, and therefore the economies of scale will set in, and we believe the cost of doing business in this port will actually be lower than at other ports.
The ministry, we are the landlord of the free zone, so to say, and we are there to iron out issues. I can remember all the issues that arose concerning the community members and their movement to their resettlements. But we thank God today that most of it has been solved. Most of it. We are still solving some, but most of them have been solved.
Arise News spoke to the MD and CEO of the Lekki Port, Du Rogan, who spoke about the significance of the port and what it means for Nigeria-China relations.
Cargo evacuation system will be rebalanced after the taking off of Lekki Port. So the living conditions of the citizens of Lagos will probably be improved. Yeah, be improved. So think about it. For Nigeria, for the past decades of years, there's only 1.5 to 2 million TEU, capacity. So with the extra capacity offered by Lekki Port, the overall capacity of the container stevedoring services will be increased to, I think, around 3 million TEU per year. And maybe after phase 2, the whole throughput capacity will be increased to around 5 million. With the operation of Lekki Port, it's just like a key. We open the new doors and new routes of such kind of import and export between Nigeria and China. And plus, not only for China, but also for Asian, South Asian, even for US, South America, Europe, etc.
Now you have a port that is fully automated. You have a port that it will be much more efficient than the existing ports, you understand. What this also means is we have a port that can compete favorably with other ports in West Africa. And we believe with the commissioning of this port and once the commercial activity kicks off, we are likely to see reduction in congestion and traffic around the Tinkan and Apapa corridors. And so that is really significant for us. This seaport has been, under construction, let me say, probably for 11 years or so. But the actual construction actually began about 3 or so years ago. And with the approval by the President and the support of the Federal Ministry of Transportation, we were able to achieve this in 3 years. So it has been under, in consideration and plan probably for 11 years.
International trade, job creation, and bilateral relations with China, the second largest economy in the world. There is a whole lot riding on this very important port, not only to Lagos, but also to Nigeria. Rhoda Sodiri, Arise News.
All right, Ayo, a lot to say about this project.
Well, I will start by saying congratulations to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, particularly the Center of Excellence, Lagos State. A proud moment for the Governor of Lagos State, His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and of course, the President, who thought it important enough to come and commission these projects himself. Yesterday in Lagos State, Lekki Deep Seaport, Reuters has done such a great job in terms of reporting, and there are not many negative things to say about this, to be fair, and I'm not looking for negative things, but just to mention a few things in terms of the investment is in excess of $1.5 billion. His Excellency, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has already highlighted the partnerships across different countries and different organizations. It's a public-private partnership in terms of the funding of this project. It's meant to be at least the biggest and hopefully should potentially be the busiest port in Lagos. We have the Apapa port, we have the Tinkan port, and now we have the Lekki Deep Sea port. In terms of the benefit of this seaport, of course, it's been highlighted in many ways as to how beneficial this project is going to be and how much it would contribute to the GDP of the nation. The port is expected to generate $201 billion revenue annually from Lagos and federal government in taxes, royalties, duties, and also business revenue impact of $158 billion across the value chain. In terms of job creation, it's estimated to provide in excess of 300,000 jobs directly and indirectly, and also impact that area, the Lekki Free Trade Zone and its areas in terms of infrastructure. So already Lagos Seaport has said they would invest $800 million in building real infrastructure. We know that real estate in that area in the last few years has appreciated, with more people moving and investing in that area, with the potential that following the full operation of the port, we will see more activity in that, or we'll see more activities in that area. We also know that in terms of the refineries there are many things happening, Lekki Free Trade Zone. However, we must learn lessons from our existing ports in Lagos State. The challenge or the beauty of things like this is that there's a desire to celebrate and bump fists and say well done, which of course is due. However, we have a problem with the culture of maintenance in this nation, and that's something I must speak about, because if we're looking forward, we must be able to learn lessons from the past. We have the second busiest port, let me use that as an example, Tinkan Port. And there have been challenges that have been identified. I'm hoping the Lagos State government will learn or pick lessons from there and utilize in terms of the Lekki Deep Sea Port. One of which, of course, has been complained is the infrastructural development, roads, accessibility, the hellish traffic congestion in that area, multiple tolls by touts in that area, making it difficult for business owners and cargo operators to do business in that axis. Same with Apapa ports. Now we've built a new port. I'm hoping that we wouldn't see a reenactment of these challenges at the Lagos Deep Sea Port. I'm saying this because it is important when we build such great infrastructure with the potential to impact in the economy so greatly to ensure that the impact is total. We're not having this, and then in a few years down the line, we're wondering what has gone wrong. We haven't had, the things promised. The rail line hasn't been completed. We have, issues around movement in that area. Whilst business has improved and in terms of jobs have increased in that area, we still have challenges there. These are some of the lessons we can learn. But overall, congratulations to the Lagos State government and of course to the federal government. And I must mention that the Motor Rice Mill was also launched yesterday. The president was there to ceremoniously cut the tape, didn't say anything, but at least he was there to inaugurate what is the biggest rice mill in Lagos and indeed in many parts of Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. So great on all fronts and congratulations.
Dr. Bati?
Okay, the Lekki deep seaport I think is important because this is Nigeria's first deep seaport. Why is it so? One of the problems that we have faced in Nigeria is that the draft of our existing ports is just too low.
Yes.
Now we're told that this new deep sea port, can handle up to 16 meters, which is a lot.
16.5 meter draft.
16.5, okay. Yeah. 16.5 meters draft. So that's an advantage. It means that the Lekki deep sea port can become a hub, and it's projected to be a hub within the West African sub-region. So it's not just for Nigeria, it's also for the entire West Africa, given the capacity in terms of the design of that deep seaport. Secondly, this is the second time that you have, a seaport being inaugurated in Lagos. The last time a seaport was inaugurated was in the late 1970s, the Tinkan port, which was supposed to complement the Apapa port. So in terms of maritime activities, international trade, I think this Lekki deep seaport is an important development. The governor of Lagos State has pointed out that it will create jobs where that is to be expected. Over 170,000 were told, direct and indirect jobs. Of course, people will work there. It's not ghosts that will work there, even if this is the age of artificial intelligence. But it will create, commercial activities. It will create a whole ecosystem in that free zone. The governor of Lagos State also pointed out that this is as a result of the collaboration between the Lagos State government, the federal government of Nigeria, and also private investors. And, one of the private investors that spoke, in fact, pointed out that this is a multinational operation among China, Nigeria, Singapore, China, Nigeria, Singapore, and that it will be managed by a French company. Now, okay, that is probably something we need to look into. All these foreigners, we're looking for foreign direct investment, but they come to Nigeria, they are managing strategic assets in Nigeria. What are the terms involved? But in terms of effort, I think it's a very good development for the economy of Lagos State, for Nigeria's strategic importance within the maritime arena in the whole of West Africa. And we're told that, this is not just infrastructure. This is infrastructure that is transformative. And the president went on a tour of the facilities. What I don't understand is the fact that one of the newspapers is reporting this morning that the president just waved at the crowd. Then he arrived around 4 p.m. So if the project is so important, so the president did not have just one or two words to say to the people of Nigeria, to the people of West Africa, to the various investors that were involved in it. I thought that was curious. And we were told also that the president went to commission a lubricant plant belonging to one company yesterday. And when he got to the lubricant plant too, he did not say anything. No, I find that a bit strange. Today we're told that the president, spending 2 days in Lagos State, is going to commission the Blue Rail line. So we hope that after that commissioning and at that commissioning, maybe the handlers of the president will finally come up with a speech for him to address not just the people of Lagos State, but also, you know, all the stakeholders whose interests are involved in these major projects. However, it is important to point out that, look, the president being in Lagos is a morale booster for the governor of Lagos State who is seeking a second term. And maybe that's why the president is very cautious so that he's not accused of making political statements or endorsing anybody. But whatever it is, he's president of Nigeria. He's president of everybody. He cannot come to Lagos, Lekki Deep Seaport, lubricant plant, Blue Rail Line, and he will be taciturn. I'm assuming that maybe it's that newspaper that missed the point. The second point to state here is that as I was coming to the office this morning, some people were saying it looks like the president is staying at a hotel in Lagos. And I was wondering, how can the president of Nigeria be staying in a hotel in Lagos? We used to have a place in Lagos here belonging to the federal government, State House. We have another place around Ikoyi axis here, where, you know, at the axis of the State House of Nigeria. I know that one of the premises was given to the Lagos State government. I think that that's an error. The president of Nigeria should be able to move around Nigeria and Lagos, that used to be the original capital of Lagos State, and have a place to stay there. The facilities in that original space that is there in Lagos, you know, they are adequate. There was conference room, there was everything there. To say that the president of Nigeria is visiting Lagos and is staying in a hotel, I don't know what that hotel is, but I think there's something odd about that. And the next president of Nigeria, if he happens to understand the issues, must immediately correct that. There are other projects that the president of Nigeria would commission today, including, I'm told, the J.K. Randu Center, including, I'm told, other projects. Yes, it will make Sanwo-Olu look good when Sanwo-Olu suddenly remembers that he too is running for an election and it cannot be a back career for another campaign.
Okay, so a lot to say about the Lekki Seaport, and I hope I'm giving time to talk, really. This is a good development. When we see something good, let's call it the way it is. Okay, I think I don't have time to speak on this. Maybe I'll just move on since I'm told I have a minute, and a minute wouldn't do justice to it.